The year is 1986, and while Top Gun is booming in cinemas, Europe is receiving a nice shower of quality radiation, and NASA accidentally does an oopsie with one of their space shuttles. Nintendo was making history in the gaming world by releasing what we would now call a Game of the Year. The Legend of Zelda did a lot of things that were never heard of before. The first open world game you could experience in your living room? Check. Saving with the press of a button? Saved. First minigame inside of a game? Hell yeah, you bet you're... Wait, what now? In the blessed year of 2024, minigames are nothing new. But in 1986, adding one to your game was groundbreaking. For this very first minigame, Nintendo didn't really do anything special. While you complete the first dungeon, you encounter an old man who tells you the mysterious line, "The Eastmost Peninsula is the secret." When you travel there, you'll find a tree, and inside that tree, you'll find another old man who gives you the precious option to bet your precious rupees to double them. And let's be real here, who didn't want a bunch of rupees? Basically, Nintendo introduced gambling to kids around the world, and by doing so, paved the way for something truly magnificent. I love minigames, and I mean, I frequently prefer them over the actual main gameplay. I don't know what it is about them, whether it's the short duration of them or the time invested by the developer on one specific mechanic and pushing its levels of fun to the maximum, or my undying love for board games and card games that I've had since my childhood. If there's a minigame in the game I'm playing, you bet your ass I'll sit down and play it for a few hours, even if there's no reward for doing so. By now, there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of games with minigames in them. And they are insanely diverse in size, scope, and experience. There are minigames for fishing, farming, mining, alchemy, combat, replacing combat, fist fighting, in-game arcades, mini-golfing, beauty contest, horse racing, gambling, more gambling. They really love gambling. There are so many different kinds. And it probably doesn't help that the lines between minigames and just game mechanics has blurred more and more over time. Is the combat in Undertale a minigame? I don't know, but I would count it. Does it take a short time to finish? Sure. Is the experience different each time? Yeah. Can you avoid playing it? Sure. Would I? Heck no! And the same questions can be asked for alchemy in Kingdom Come Deliverance or fist fighting and horse riding in The Witcher. Sure, you could argue they're just a part of the main game, but they all take you out of the main gameplay cycle, change things up a bit, give you a little break and challenge you in different ways. The best question for checking if it's a minigame or not is the question, does it still work and remain fun, even if I strip away all the other parts of the game? Now, I have a small confession to make. I never personally got past the first part of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. My baby gamer brother and I had the game on the Wii when it was launched. He played it through entirely, and I got stuck on fishing. I genuinely couldn't get enough of it. Initially, I just did it because this crazy cat lady asked me to, and the cutie would run away whenever I would get close. But then I fell in love with it. The calm, the sparkling water, the spastic motion you do with the Wii remote to reel it in. It was fantastic. And so, it was all I did. I also love how some games allow you to take an alternative path through the use of a minigame. In Black Book, you play as Vasilisa the Witch, and you try to save your husband from the underworld after he had an untimely death. The game's combat is amazing, as it's card-based, and the decks you can create are super unique. Heck, the lady better known as my fiancé beat the game using a deck that revolves around damaging opponents whenever you use a herb that is traditionally used to heal you. But what makes Black Book extra special in my book is that when you encounter a demon on your travels, you can maneuver your way through dialogue to avoid standard combat, and instead play Durak, the card-based minigame. And when you win, you don't have to do standard combat. It's an amazing way to integrate minigames, and it definitely helps that Durak is an incredibly fun card game to play. Hey kid, I've got something special for you. You've always wanted a pet dragon, haven't you? But while looking through the wild grass, you could only find that dumb Mew that nobody wants. Well, I have a solution for you. With this video sponsor, the one and only Celadon City Game Corner. Only here can you spend your Pokecoins to play the best, least addictive, and most child-friendly slot machines known to mankind. And if you play enough, you might be able to get this sick-looking worm, which, if you train it hard enough, evolves into this insane dragon. It can even be green if you're really lucky. So come to Celadon Game Corner and give it a spin. Everyone who knows The Witcher knows about Gwent. It's probably one of the best mini-games that you can find within a broad open world game. But in The Witcher 1 and 2, they did something different. Dice Poker was the Gwent of the early games, and you bet I played it whenever I got the chance. The gameplay was short, pretty straightforward, and incredibly fun. It might be because of the fact that I grew up playing Yahtzee with my family every night, but rolling dice and trying to get a certain combinations to beat your opponents just hits me in the right spot. And I loved how you could gain a little bit of extra cash that you could use for the items you needed along the way. Of course, there are also fistfights and horse riding spread across the games. Honestly, there are actually so many different mini-games and side quests spread across these games that really help break apart the gameplay, and they really make it so that nothing ever becomes boring. Minigames also make gameplay that could otherwise be boring a lot more fun. Let's take fishing as an easy example. Fishing in real life comes down to just sitting down, putting down your fishing rod, and just waiting, enjoying nature and relaxing. It's peaceful, strangely meditative, and just all around calm. Nobody wants any of that in their video games. It's all about the excitement, the activity, the clutch moments, and the sweaty palms. So how can fishing be turned from something that takes a long time and isn't necessarily special to something that is the complete opposite? Well, minigames. Stardew Valley is the perfect example of this. There are a ton of different fish to catch, all living in different areas, and you have to catch a heck of a lot of them for the community center. So, how do you keep this fun? You make catching the fish snappy. Waiting 10 minutes before something comes to your bait? Who has time for that? Let's just do 5 seconds at most before it's ready to be served. Just pulling in your fish is boring? Well, let's make it interactive. Throw a little bar down, yeet a zone in there, and then add in a marker for where you are, and then stay in the zone until you either catch the fish or you lose it. Oh, that isn't cool enough for you? Here's a bit of treasure that you can try to get as well. But don't stay away from the zone for too long, because then you lose both. It's a fantastic minigame for something that could otherwise become pretty stale. And it's even more fantastic as there's a little bit of a skill curve involved, so getting better actually allows you to catch different fish. There's also proof for how minigames can actually be taken out of a game and work without any of the other stuff. Potioncraft Alchemist Simulator is a fantastic example of this. Normally, crafting elixirs or simply cooking food would be a minigame in and of itself, and those are great, they really are. But Potioncraft took this small side mechanic for a minigame and brought it to a new level, turning it into an incredible mechanic that fully supports an entire game of itself. Choosing which ingredients to use and grinding them up making them ready, turning on the fire, throwing in some water or oil, and voila! You got yourself a potion. Wait, is that gonna make me hallucinate? Are you becoming a drug lord? I haven't even talked about games comprised of a combination of a bunch of minigames. WarioWare is simply amazing, with the best and wackiest minigames that you have to solve within a certain amount of time. Like clipping nails in Cut to the Chase, picking your nose and you can pick your friends, or having to balance a broomstick on your hand in Broomstick. It's mundane and wacky stuff turned into a minigame, and it's fantastic and random and funny and just a great experience all around. Or Mario Party, which of course has many fantastic minigames, filling it up as a challenge to get coins to buy stars with. Minigames are awesome and are super beneficial to games as a whole. It helps break apart the gameplay cycle and does a fantastic job at making small, uninteresting tasks really fun. I honestly really believe that any game could use a minigame, and for me, they are frequently my favorite part of the game. So, if you ask me, I'd love to see more minigames in games, whether it's fishing or gambling or singing karaoke. Minigames have a warm place in my heart and deserve way more attention than they're currently getting. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do you love minigames as much as I do, or did I forget to mention one of your favorite minigames? Please let me know in the comments so I can further fulfill my addiction as the goblin minigame hoarder that I am. Outside of that, I make videos about once a month, so if you're curious, here's one about open worlds and another about the importance of game testing. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!